Well, I'm here with, now I think he became our friend, Vincent van Duzen, and he's Belgian. He's a super designer. I know many people, some of you don't know him because we never talk about much about him in Brazil, and but he's fantastic. He's far the super luxury style man, and the things he designed is really good. He makes comfortable things, sophisticated design. This is the kind of design that we all expect to be done when we talk about companies like Molteni or the other companies. He already designed before, and he's still designing for others. What is home for you? What is the meaning of home?
Well, I would say that home for me, I always consider, I mean, talking home, I always think about my own home, obviously. My home, I call it a sanctuary. It's actually a place where I want to try to reach the maximum of serenity and calmness. I mean, we're all living in this fast-track world, and you know, we're all kind of like visually disturbed by so many things. So I believe that our home is a place where you feel protected, but also a place where you feel the calming down of the senses. So I think it's very important. It's a place where you feel really comfortable, and that's what I aim in all of my projects that are domestic projects.
Which one is best, by the sea or in Belgium?
I would say this time, I love my home in Antwerp because, again, it's like an oasis in the city. I love towns, but I don't love too much hectic towns. I mean, like you guys, you're from Brazil, Sao Paulo. It's a huge metropolitan city with I don't know how many million of inhabitants. I live in a quiet Belgian city with only 800,000 inhabitants, but it's a very beautiful, creative town, and my house is part of it. It's like with a garden. I live with my 3 dogs. You know, geographically, sorry, it's very well situated because it's in the center of Europe. And if you would ask me if I would love to have my home by the sea, I would say also yes, because as you know, I'm building my own private house in Portugal, south of Lisbon, and I'm going to move in this summer. And I'm very looking forward because it's nearby the ocean, and I love the smell and the breeze of the ocean. It's going to be another experience. The light is different, but so I'm going to have either a home in Antwerp, and I'm going to have soon also a home in Portugal.
After he stays quite long in Portugal, maybe the next interview will be in Portuguese.
Good. I'll try and do my best. I'll do my best. Not sure if I can make that, but I'll try.
This design. What is design for you, and what is the best part of it and the worst part of it, the bad side and the good side?
I mean, first of all, you know, I'm an architect, so and I mean, yeah, and I see architecture as something like, I mean, we don't only create space. I mean, it's not only a business or a profession that is related to the construction of the space. I mean, I also create space that is made for the furniture pieces that belong to that space, and also to the people that have to live in that space with those objects. And obviously, I mean, from the interior, you can never distract from architecture or from the exterior. I also go deep into my furniture design, and that's also why actually some of the companies, and especially like Molteni, they love my interior work, and they approach me to ask whether I would like to design for them, you know, single, industrialized, I mean, furniture pieces, which is completely different because I'm not a designer. So I see it from a much broader context, you know, much more as the relation between the objects and the space and the use of it. So of course there's a complexity, but it's very related. I mean, whether I design a furniture piece, it's a smaller scale, or whether it's designing a house,
building.
There are similarities for sure. So the difference is that an architect, he will never zoom into the details, or he will never start around the color. He will start around the project that we have to design, around the ergonomics, and then afterwards we will implement the technology, we will implement the touches of color and make it sure that this kind of design that I create is a perfect design that matches in each of our houses. As you might know already, I mean, I'm not a designer that likes design to be screaming. I mean, I'm a person that like understated design. very understated, very sustainable. It has to be timeless. I love the use of beautiful materials. I love hidden technologies. Products are beautifully balanced, the right proportions, the right implementations of fabrics and colors, and so that these pieces become almost instant classics, although being very modern at the same time.
If you were a piece of furniture, which one would you be?
Oh my God, that's a difficult one. I think there are too many to mention. Maybe you have one in your idea, that I could be, but I'm pretty much a very dynamic person. I've seen where the furniture pieces are more static, so it would be maybe a rocking chair. I'm kidding.
Rocking chair. Makes sense. And if not an architect or not a designer, what would you be?
Well, I mean, like anything that is related to the creativity sector has always appealed me. You know, when I was a kid, I was painting, I was dancing, I was doing theater. So I was very much interested in arts, in fashion, photography. I mean, it could be anything. And I mean, it's like still right now, I mean, I'm still very interested in all of this kind of various art disciplines. And again, I mean, luckily architecture covers a lot of them as well for me.
And from where your best idea comes from?
They come from my mind. I mean, they come from my mind, but they just pop up. I mean, I'm not a person who is fanatic or that is, you know, a groupie or any of kind of architects. There's a lot of talent around of the world. And talent can be in anything. It can be having a conversation with you, meeting someone on the street or somewhere else. It's just like, you know, I'm a very visual person, you know, through my travels, I see things, I see compositions, I see, you know, so many things that are inspiring me. It could be anything. I mean, but there's so many, yeah, of course, environment, but it could be, of course, also, you know, I'm a very book addicted person, so I read and I go a lot through books and magazines. I have a very photogenic eye, so I mean, like I'm observing a lot. So I'm like a sponge, actually. I'm like a sponge, but I'm very intuitive. So my ideas, they come up very intuitively.
If you have three persons that you could invite for a dinner just with you, living or dead,
well, I mean,
which one would be?
I think there would be too many to mention, but to be honest, but I would say. You know, I'm in terms of interiors, I'm a big fan. I've always been a big fan of Jean-Michel Frank because, I mean, for me, he's the guy who really went to the purest form of interiors and design. I mean, he really got rid of all the excess and went really to the pureness of what it was. And I love the use of his materials and everything. It could be Picasso as well. I mean, because I mean, he is a one of a kind. I mean, like, you know, I also like the opposite. People that are overstimulated, that are over creative, that, you know, they have over talented and, you know, they reaches the world. And I think I would say also definitely my best friend, actress Julianne Moore. I mean, she is an amazing person, an amazing actor. She has incredible style and taste for interior, and we're very close friends.
Great. And the last one. Suppose that you nowadays you meet Vincent at 28 years old. Mm-hmm. What would you say to him? What is your advice?
Well, what would I say to him? I mean, like, honestly, I mean, I wouldn't give him a specific advice. You know, the thing is, like, in general, I mean, I can only say that I'm very passionate about what I'm doing and I have an incredible willpower, so I always very focused on where I'm going, and I would definitely insist to him to do the same.
Do everything, you know, the same.
Do everything the same, exactly.
Go forward.
I mean, go forward, go with the flow. I mean, like, you know, I'm a very intuitive person. I don't have brothers and sisters. I'm kind of like, you know, I created my own world by myself, and I always say, like, okay, thanks God or here above, I mean, for being so gifted and talented. But of course, you need a big willpower and a passion to go for it. So and go forward. Exactly.
That's it. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
That was great. Thank you very much. Right.